Hello, my name is Klara Weinfeld. I was born in December 1929 in Azagorod, Czechoslovakia. My parents' names were Morris and Joanna Julia Weinfeld. Everything was normal when I was a young child. I went outside and played with my older brother Frank as well as my older sister Renee. As a family, we enjoyed going skiing and sledding, and in the summer, we enjoyed playing tennis. We also went swimming with our friends. My siblings and I had a lot of friends. Some were Jewish, and others were not. When my siblings and I were growing up, we attended public schooling. Every day we felt welcomed. We could walk into school and not feel like we were dirty animals. However, that all changed when the Nazi Party took over Germany. The Nazi Party had many followers, including an organization called Hungary. They terrorized our whole city. They broke windows and randomly abused innocent Jewish citizens. Each day we would come home from school and my mother would quickly usher us into our house. My mother stayed at home all day while my father ran his menswear business and textile factory. In the past, my mom could stay home all day and feel safe in her house alone. However, now she often invites our neighbors over, who are also stay-at-home mothers. She did that because she no longer felt safe in her own home. In 1938, an organization called Hungary invaded our town. I remember that day like it was yesterday. My brother and I were racing each other up and down the street when all of a sudden we saw a loud, ginormous truck driving down our street. We heard hollering from inside the truck. Then, men in uniforms busted out of the vehicle. They began to bang on the Franks' front door and then proceeded to break all of their fragile windows. The Frank family couldn't do anything about it. They were completely terrified, as was I. I screamed my lungs out, "Mama, Papa!" Papa grabbed my 9-year-old self and pushed my brother and I into the basement. We stayed there for what seemed like an hour, all the while sitting in complete silence. I couldn't think straight. June 1943 was another tough year. My mother, father, Renee, and myself were very proud of my brother Frank. He had successfully graduated high school. However, after his graduation, he was conscripted into a forced labor camp. He promised us he would come home, but we all knew that was going to be the last time we saw him. My mother hysterically cried all day, but I just stared at my brother's bed, remembering all the fun times we had together. I couldn't get over the fact that the last memory of Frank would be of him being hauled away by a Nazi soldier. He was the person I could talk to and receive advice from. However, now that Frank was gone, I had no one to confide in. March 1944 was yet again another tough period. The organization in Hungary had broken their alliance with the Nazi Party. However, because there was now no one to control us, the real Nazi Party invaded Uzagorod. I first thought Hungary would be the worst we would ever experience, but I was terribly wrong. The things the Nazis did to the Jewish people were so inhumane. They beat fathers right in front of their children. They would sometimes tie men to cement columns in the town square, then brutally beat them, sometimes killing them in front of the town. The worst part about it is that no one jumped in and saved the dying men. They would just stood around with blank stares on their faces. Sometimes a few of the townspeople would throw tomatoes at the beaten men, mocking them. It made me sick, but no one would listen to a 15-year-old Jewish girl. It's now Passover Eve, and my family and I are having our annual dinner. Suddenly, I hear the unforgettable sound of the Nazi trucks coming down our street. As a truck comes to a halt in front of our house, a Nazi soldier rushes to our front door and breaks it open. He screams, "Get out, you dirty Jews! Now!" As we hustle over to the awaiting train cars, I look over my shoulder to see if my friend of 6 years is in one of those lines. I don't see her. I can only pray that she and her family got out of this place and safely into hiding. I don't know what's in store for us when we arrive at our destination, but I know it won't be good. It's a long ride from my home to our final destination. I can't imagine a worse place than this cattle car. But I've been wrong before about the Nazis. When we reach our final destination, we are pushed around by the Nazi police. They push their guns into our backs to make us move faster. We are later assigned our room number and what job we will have. As we enter our apartment, we see 3 other families huddled together. After we unpack what little we have, we are told to go down to the bread line to receive our loaf of bread. We have no idea where we are or what the Nazis have in mind for us. However, we know it won't be good. It's now 3 weeks later, and my father has passed away. It's horrible to say, but witnessing brutality has become the new normal, such as seeing people get shot for trying to barter for things like food and clothing with other Jews. It's all burned into my mind. My day is usually very routine, but today is unusual. We are all told to gather in single file lines and wait for someone to tell us where to go. When it's my turn, they point their gun to a small cattle car to my right. I am then pushed with a Nazi officer's gun to the cattle car. I hardly have enough room to breathe. I want to scream my lungs out, but I know that would get myself in trouble. I finally get a glimpse of my mom, but as I'm about to call out for her, the massive doors slam shut. My whole body goes numb. I feel myself slump over. I can't believe that might have been the last time I see her. Then I feel a jolt, and the train takes off. I want to give up, to see my father again. However, a little voice tells me to keep going. For some unknown reason, I decide to turn my head around. To my surprise, I see my beloved sister standing behind me. We hug each other and tell each other that we were going to be okay. When the train comes to a halt and the wooden doors slide open, I can't believe my eyes. I look around the cattle car and notice many corpses lying on the floor. I think, this must be the end. This has to be the worst of it. However, once again, I am terribly wrong. As we are pushed out of the cattle car, we form single file lines. There are men in uniforms calling out for twins. There is also a man with a pointer, pointing to the left or to the right. As my sister and I get closer to the front of the line, I notice that the people getting sent to the right are being walked to an immense brick building, with smoke coming out from its chimney. I wonder if it could be a safe haven, or another trick to get rid of the unwanted. However, the more time I spend within the Nazi walls, the more I realize there is no safe haven. This is the end for all of the Jewish community. I will never see my mother smile again or hear my sisters laugh. I start to weep, but as I do, I feel a nudge in my back. I look over and see my mother. I thought I would never see her again. I finally have some hope that we will make it through all of this. I have to make it for my mother and Renee. It's now my mother's turn to be told if she goes to the left or to the right. When she's directed to the right and we are directed to the left, I don't know what to expect. I reach out to my mother, but the guards rip us apart. She manages to slip out. "Stay strong, fierce sister. We will see each other again sometime soon," she told us. I was so scared and rushed by the guards, I didn't have time to respond. This is the last time I see my mother. Before Renee and I enter the main camp, we are sent into a room full of other Jews holding shavers. I am pushed down into a chair, and all my brown curly hair is shaved off. I am completely hairless. Next, we are ordered to strip down and lay our clothes in a pile. I am completely terrified. I lost my sister in the chaos. With all the screams, I can't even hear myself think, let alone try to find someone I may not even recognize. As we enter a large, stale room, large puffs of white clouds are poured on top of us. It burns my eyes so much they feel like they are on fire. As we exit the last room, we are thrown a pair of striped pajamas. After we are all sterilized, we are assigned a barrack. As we enter our assigned barrack, I can't believe my eyes. There had to be more than 100 Jewish women and children in the tiny barrack. Renee and I find a bunk with about 5 other people in it. It was a tight squeeze, but somehow we all managed to fit in. I don't know how we are going to survive this place, but I know I will try my hardest not to give up, for my mother's sake. Over the next few weeks, we are punished from sunup to sundown. We only get one bowl of soup, consisting of boiled water and thistles. Renee eats it to try to keep her weight up. However, by the second week in Auschwitz, we all look like walking skeletons. I, however, never eat anything. I only eat some of the bread that we are given once in a great while. Renee and I both know that I will someday be chosen for the gas chambers if I keep this up. However, I don't care if I live or die anymore. I just want to be with my mother, father, and Frank. I believe that I will be a happier person with my beloved family members. It's now been 5 weeks in Auschwitz, and Renee keeps begging me to eat my soup. She believes we can make it out of this place together, but it's far too late for me. I am nothing but skin and bones. You can see my individual ribs, and my eyes have sunken into my face. Renee looks the same, but she is much stronger than I am, so she will be chosen to work. I, however, will be chosen at the next selection for the gas chambers. It is now September 1944, and Renee has been selected for work. I am happy for her, because this puts her at a lesser risk for being selected for the gas chambers. However, I am also bitter that I won't be able to have her by my side 24/7. Because of this, we work out a plan. We decided to meet each other at the fence that divides our 2 camps. To be able to complete this task, we have to wake up around 3 a.m. before a roll call. We continue this for 4 weeks until I am selected for the gas chambers. As we enter a big brick building, we are ordered to take off all our clothes and leave them in a pile. We enter this massive room with wooden benches along both sides. Then, all of a sudden, the ginormous steel doors close behind us. What looks like steam comes pouring out of the pipes above. Everyone in the room, children, mothers, and myself, begin to scream. People begin to grab at their throats, choking on the gas. Then everything falls silent, and I collapse to the ground. My eyes are getting heavier and heavier as time wears on. In an instant, everything goes black. I see my mother, father, and my brother Frank approaching me with open arms. As I run into my mother's arms, I finally feel safe, after many years of torture.